COVID-19 is taking its toll on the economy. Businesses are in rebuilding mode and they need you to do that. But how do you stand out in the job market? Your resume and cover letter are your first stop. Together, they highlight your strengths and talents, allowing you to put your best foot forward. Let's start with creating a resume that helps you to stand up and stand out. In this video, we will cover the 4 basic sections to include in your resume, as well as how to develop an optional objective statement. Then we will walk you through options for organizing the sections into the best resume format for your situation. Let's get started on creating those basic sections. First, if you are starting a brand new career or changing careers, we recommend you include an optional objective statement as the first item on your resume. This statement is typically 2 or 3 sentences and explains why you're applying for the position. The statement should mention your transferable skills and how they would benefit the employer. Here's an example. College graduate with proven communication, travel planning, and email management skills, seeking a position as an administrative assistant at Acme Inc. to leverage organizational and research skills to support internal and external communications. Now let's look at each of the 4 other sections. First is the professional summary. This section should be between 2 and 4 sentences that describe your experience level and key skills related to the position for which you are applying. In this section and other sections of your resume, you want to include some of the key words that were included in the job description. Keywords are those words that are mentioned multiple times in the job description. Hiring managers look for these words in resumes as a sign that you have a solid understanding of the position and to assess whether you thoroughly read the job description. Run your resume through a website such as jobscan.co to determine whether you've included enough keywords. Employers frequently use these type of platforms to scan resumes before having a hiring manager review them. Next is the work experience section. In this section, list your work experience in reverse chronological order, with the most recent experience at the top. Each experience should include the name of the employer, the city and state in which they are located, and dates of employment, including the month and year. It's okay to include volunteer and internship experiences. With each employer, describe your job responsibilities. Keep this listing to 4 or 5 bullet points, and if possible, quantify or qualify your results. For example, specify how many people you managed or how much revenue you helped bring in. It could read something like this: conducted check-ins ensuring on-time credit completion for 400+ students. The next section is skills summary. List between 6 and 8 bullet points that describe those skills you possess that are relevant to the position and would transfer well. Include your strongest technical skills and any special knowledge related to the field in which you are applying. Also, include any languages other than English that you speak. Examples of key skills in this section might include AutoCAD, Microsoft Access, fluent in Spanish, or advanced customer service. The final section is education. In this section, include the names of any schools and training institutions you've attended, the city and state where they are located, and the degrees, certifications, or diplomas earned. Include any other coursework that is relevant to the job for which you are applying. List these in reverse chronological order with the most recent training or degree at the top. While you are not required by law to list graduation dates, omitting them may raise a red flag with some employers. If you graduated years ago, then it's probably best to leave out the date. If you're a more recent graduate, it's best to include the date. List high school information if you do not have a college degree or if the employer has requested that information. If you have a college degree, there's no need to list your high school information. Now that you have developed each section of the resume, let's look at different ways to display the information. The 3 resume types we will cover are chronological, functional, and hybrid. Most employers prefer the chronological resume, which is primarily a listing of your work experience in reverse chronological order. Use this format if you have a solid work history, are staying within the same industry or field, and/or have specific job titles like supervisor, manager, or director, or an upward trajectory. If you choose this type of resume, it's best to order your sections this way: professional summary, work experience, skills experience, and education. If you have the skills to do the job but little to no experience for the position, the functional resume is a better choice. That's because this type of resume highlights your skills and abilities rather than your work experience. This version does require a bit of tweaking from the basic sections you created. You would start with your professional summary if you have some experience and were able to create one. Next, you would add the skills summary section, but in this case, you want to create broad skills categories. In each category, list your strongest examples of skills related to that category. For example, one category could be customer service, and an example under that category could be top-rated customer service associate for 3 consecutive months. You would still list your work experience in the functional resume. However, because you already highlighted the most important information in the skills section, you only need to list the name of the company, your title, and the dates you worked there. Also, it's important to note that you can include in the skills section any skills you gained through personal or professional projects, just as long as they help demonstrate you have a good track record of developing and completing tasks. The third resume type is the hybrid resume. This type of resume is a combination of the chronological and functional resumes. It emphasizes your skills and your work experience. Using this resume, you would use these sections, ordered in this way: skills summary, work experience, and education. Now that we've covered resume sections and types, let's cover some other basics. You always want to include your legal first and last name at the top of the resume. Avoid using nicknames. Your phone number and a professional email address should appear under your name. For example, using an email like cutiepie@yahoo.com would likely cause your resume to be thrown out before it was read. It's better to use an address like this: name@gmail.com. And once you start sending out your resume, be sure to check your email daily, because many employers email candidates as the primary form of communication. Your voicemail greeting should also be professional. Make sure you have one that is clear and understandable. You'll likely be using a mobile phone as your contact number, but if you have to use a home phone, be sure your family members are prepared to answer the call professionally. Check frequently to make sure your voicemail is not full, so employers are able to reach you. In closing, here are some other helpful tips. Your resume is a factual document that describes your skills and abilities, so keep to the facts. Don't forget to include specific examples and results. Spell check your resume to make sure you do not have any spelling or grammatical errors. Have as many people as possible review your resume before you test it out on the job you really want. Your resume should be a constant work in progress. To stay in touch with all of our workforce services and initiatives, follow the tag #BounceBackContraCosta.